The story explores betrayal, ambition, family ties, and the cost of trust. The enemy within. In the bustling city of Abuja, the Daniels family stood as a symbol of success and unity. Mr. Richard Daniels, a retired general turned politician, had wealth, influence, and a large estate in Asokoro. His wife, Elizabeth, known for her philanthropy, commanded respect in high society. Together, they had 3 children: Michael, the ambitious firstborn, Grace, the soft-spoken lawyer, and David, the creative and often overlooked youngest child. From the outside, the Daniels' life looked perfect, but inside the family's mansion, secrets festered like rot in polished wood. Michael, a banker turned entrepreneur, had always lived in the shadow of his father's military legacy. He wanted to make a name for himself, one that didn't begin with "son of Richard Daniels." What no one knew was that Michael had taken a $500 million loan using the family business as collateral, and things were spiraling out of control. Grace had always been the peacekeeper. She had sacrificed her dreams of working at an international law firm to help her father manage his political affairs. But even she didn't know that the people her father once protected were now the ones plotting his downfall. David, the youngest, had the closest bond with their late mother, whose diary he discovered buried under books in her old study. In its pages, David found letters that suggested that Richard Daniels had once betrayed his best friend, Maxwell Lawson, a betrayal that ended in death during the military era. David began to question everything. Before we continue, please like, comment, subscribe, and share for more my stories. It started with a car accident. Richard Daniels was returning from a political fundraiser when his convoy was attacked. Bullets rained, his driver died instantly, but Richard survived barely. The police called it a robbery gone wrong, but David wasn't convinced. He found a tracker in the wrecked vehicle military grade, not something a random gang would use. Grace began probing her father's old military files, and what she discovered chilled her. The man her father had betrayed, Maxwell Lawson, had a son. His name, Samuel Lawson. A decorated intelligence officer who had vanished from public life 5 years ago. That's when Michael began acting strangely. His calls became secretive. He started disappearing for days. One morning, Grace followed him and saw him entering a rundown building in Garki. Curious, she entered a few minutes after him but found nothing. The building was empty. Until she found the burner phone. It contained messages between Michael and someone named SL. Phase 1 complete. The old man survived, but not for long. Grace couldn't believe it. Was her own brother plotting to kill their father? Please like, comment, subscribe, and share for more stories. Michael had always believed he deserved more. His father had spent more time building Nigeria than building his own family. When Michael approached his father for financial help to pay off his debts, Richard Daniels refused. "You've brought shame," he said coldly. "Fix your mess, you're not a child." So Michael turned to someone else, Samuel Lawson. Samuel had approached him 6 months ago under the alias Chief Sulaiman. He told Michael he could erase his debts, sponsor his political ambitions, and make him the face of a new Nigeria. All he had to do was help destroy the man who had betrayed Samuel's father. Michael agreed. He didn't realize he was being used. He thought he was pulling the strings, not the puppet. But Samuel wanted revenge not just for the past, but to erase the Daniels family entirely. Michael had given Samuel access to their estate. It was he who leaked Richard's convoy route, and it was he who disabled the security systems weeks before the attack. But now, with his father still alive and his siblings growing suspicious, Michael began to unravel. Before we continue, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. David confronted Grace with the diary and the letters. Together, they pieced together their father's role in the mysterious death of Maxwell Lawson, an execution, ordered in secret during the military junta years, covered up as a mutiny. Richard Daniels, once hailed as a hero, had been responsible for the death of a loyal friend. But Grace knew the law, and David had evidence. They needed to protect their father even if it meant exposing him. They went to the State Security Service, SSS, and an internal investigation was launched. But it was too late. Samuel had made his final move. The Daniels estate was attacked at night silently, surgically. The guards were neutralized. Michael, realizing he had been a pawn, tried to stop the assassins, but he was shot in the leg and left bleeding. Samuel found Richard in his study. Old, weak, and tired, Richard faced the son of the man he had betrayed. "I didn't pull the trigger," Richard said quietly, "but I gave the order." Samuel raised the pistol. "Then die for it." But before he could fire, David tackled him from behind. Grace arrived with armed officers moments later. A firefight ensued. Samuel was captured. Michael survived, but barely. His betrayal became public news. His political dreams were shattered, and he was disowned by the Daniels name. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Richard Daniels, now disgraced, stepped down from politics. He held a press conference and admitted to his role in Maxwell Lawson's death, asking for the country's forgiveness. David inherited the family foundation and turned it into a non-profit for veterans and orphans of war. Grace returned to law full-time, helping other military families pursue justice. Michael, under house arrest, wrote a memoir titled The Enemy Within, a cautionary tale about ambition, betrayal, and the cost of silence. As for Richard, he spent his last days in quiet reflection, surrounded by the family he had almost lost. Because in the end, it wasn't the stranger outside who nearly destroyed them. It was the enemy within. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share for more stories. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. See you on my next story.